Hello and welcome to Lesson 7 of our Intermediate Programming with Scratch. And in this little project, we're going to create a little man generating some random words. And we'll get into these sprites a little bit, and these blocks a little bit more in depth in Lesson 8. But for now, let's just kind of go over what we've got. We've kind of got some real simple sprites, these little dots, these balls that he's going to look like he's throwing. And then our little man. He's got two costumes, and I just imported those from our little inventory, but you can use anything. If you find something out there online you like better, use those. But let's just see what this does. So I'm going to click this, and we'll see kind of how this works. You see him kind of looks like he's throwing the little orbs, and they're exploding. And you see over here he's creating this word list, these letter lists from the letters he's shouting here, and then he's going to say the word. So that's kind of how this is going to work. Now we've got a variable. We made a variable here called letter, and that's what he's going to say. That's going to be that individual letter that he's saying. And then the letters is going to be the list that he's creating over here to the right. You can see that. In fact, I don't have letter toggled, but I could toggle letter, and you'd see what he's saying up here in the upper left-hand corner as he says it. In fact, you notice, see how I'm toggling the display of the variable too? I'm just double-clicking it. Let's get this view and run it again, and then you'll see as he says the letter, there's G, add a G to the list, and C, K. So you see the individual letters it's being generated, and then you see the list as it's adding to his list over here. Then he's saying the variable, and then he says the word. So that's kind of how that works. A relatively simple little script here, and we'll go in more depth in Lesson 8. But you see he's changing his costume. It's only looping 10 times, so he's only going to have 10 words in his list. And you see where we have the letter and where we have the letters. So kind of experiment with that. Remember, I had to make a variable called letter, and I had to make a list called letters, and that gave me all these extra little blocks here that I'm then working with. So let's work on our sprites. Let's kind of tinker around a little bit with your variables and lists, and then in Lesson 8 we'll get in more depth and kind of start tinkering more.